Hi, everyone. Welcome to English 102. I'm Dr. Jeffrey Way. I will be your instructor for the summer course. And this video is to give you a sense about some of the policies, the syllabus, and things that you need to know going into the online class that we're going to do over the next 6 weeks or so. So I'm going to go through the syllabus a little bit. I won't go through everything. You will. One of the things you need to do today is look through the syllabus in more detail. Make sure you're familiar with all the policies. Let me know if you have any questions, and then you have a syllabus quiz to complete. So I do want to kind of hit the highlights and just make a couple notes about important things that you need to keep in mind as you start working on stuff for the class. So as I said, my name is Dr. Jeffrey Way. You can just call me Dr. Way. Feel free to call me that in emails or when we talk via Google Hangouts or Skype. So this is an online course, so you will be expected to do something pretty much every weekday that isn't a holiday, so we won't have anything on the 4th of July. But other than that, Monday through Friday, you will have an assignment that you're expected to do. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about the progress of the course in a few minutes. But so the easiest way to get a hold of me is by email, by far, gway1@asu.edu. I will check my email regularly, probably a couple times of the day throughout the week, and a little bit more, a little bit less over the weekends, but I'll still be checking pretty regularly. So feel free, if you have a question about anything, to shoot me an email. So I will also have online office hours Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 11 a.m. via Google Hangouts, and you can access that through your ASU email address, and you can just kind of set up a hangout with me during that time. So those are open office hours, but also if those times don't work for you, if you're in another class or you are at work or something during that time and you'd like to set up a better time that works for you, just send me an email and let me know. And I'm glad to be flexible and make sure if you'd like to set up a conference, we can do that. So there is also a phone number there on the syllabus, but it goes to the writing programs office on campus, and you can just leave a message with them. So it's kind of a very roundabout way. So I always suggest just sending me an email, and I will get back to you, within 24 hours and not sooner during the week. So this is English 102, and I'm going to go a little bit over what the course is and the expectations. But again, I'm not going to hit on everything in this video, but. But so 102 is about a couple of things. So one of the things we're going to focus on in this class is the writing process. And so the work that you do doesn't just magically appear, right? You don't just write a paper and it suddenly pops into existence. So we focus a lot on the process and that work that you're going to do along the way. It's, from picking a topic to conducting research to writing drafts to the ultimate finished product, right? There's going to be an emphasis on all that work. And so we will talk a little bit more about that over the next couple of days, what the writing process is. And one of the things you'll want to think about is your own writing process. And so what is it that you are successful with as a writer, and what do you need to work on, what works and what doesn't work. So we're going to look at, more into that. 102 is also about arguments and about research. And so each of the papers has to do with arguments in a different way. And I'll talk about those more in a few minutes. There's a lot of research, both primary and secondary. So we'll be using, later in the course, we'll be using a lot of the online library resources to find information, articles, and things like that to use for your papers. So, so this course is themed, if you look at the description, on kind of the idea of the digital world, and that the fact that we every day kind of have new digital technologies are developed and introduced into the world. And so we're going to think about that. We're going to look at how new technologies continue to change the way we communicate with one another, the way we conduct work, do research, how we think about our networks, personal networks, work networks, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to delve more into those types of issues throughout the course with the readings and the videos and the articles and the assignments you're going to do and things like that. So there's one textbook that you need to use, and that is Everything's an Argument, 7th edition. You'll see it right here. It's green. So this is the newest one. It just came out this year. There are older versions of the textbook out there, so make sure you get the right one. It is by Andrea Lunsford and John J. Ruskowitz. And this is the brief version. You'll notice it's smaller. It's not a bigger one. And there is a bigger one with readings. It's more expensive, so make sure you don't get that one because we won't be using those readings. There is an ebook version. I'm totally fine. Obviously, I can't see you, so I don't know which version you'll be using, but either way, I always allow an ebook version. That's fine too. They're cheaper. If you want to rent it, that's fine. But make sure you have the textbook, because especially with this newest edition, there's a couple new chapters that we'll be looking at that you'll need to have access to. So the only other things you will need besides the textbook are you'll need access to 2 programs. So I already mentioned Google Hangouts, and you have access to that free because you have a Gmail address through your ASU email. So you can use that to meet via Google Hangouts with me, and that's free. So just, if you log in through your ASU Gmail, it's pretty easy to do so. The other thing you will need is a copy of Microsoft Word. All the assignments you submit to me and the assignments you post to discussion boards need to be done as a Word document. And so if you don't have Word, that's an issue. So, and that means you need to have Word. You can't have Google Hangout, or Google Word, Google Docs. There we go. Or if you use Pages or something like that. The problem is that when you use those programs to convert it into a Word document, it changes the formatting, and then all sorts of issues happen. So the good thing is you can get that absolutely free through ASU. On the Blackboard site, under the course info and links, there are directions about how to get your free copy of Microsoft Office through ASU. It just requires your ASU ID and password. So if you don't already have that, make sure you get that for this class. You will need it, and it's going to be helpful throughout the semester. And it's nice because it's $100, $150 that you're saving for all that software. So other than that, there are a couple of links you need to pay attention to. The student frequently asked questions for writing programs on the writing programs website. They just have a lot of kind of general information and policies regarding writing programs classes, of which English 102 is one of those courses. And then the ASU Student Code of Conduct, you're obviously responsible for knowing that and adhering to that throughout the class. Other things, especially for an online course, you need to have access to a computer with an internet connection, whether that's at home or if you need to go to campus. There are plenty of computers online are available for you to get online. Access to a college level dictionary and thesaurus. So dictionary.com, thesaurus.com are great resources. There are apps now you can get on your iPad, your phone, whatever. They're great tools for when you're working on a paper and you need to come up with a new word, or you're not sure what a word means and you don't want to look like a fool. They're great tools. So you need to make sure you have access to those. So, and then I always highly recommend having a flash drive or a cloud drive. So if you have access to Google Docs through ASU, I use Dropbox, Box.net. Any of these are great resources because you need to back up your work. There's nothing worse than having an assignment due the next day and suddenly your computer dies and you haven't saved it anywhere but your computer, and then you're screwed and you have to write some kind of horrible thing at the last minute. So make sure you back up your work. Don't just have it one place, have it many places. So now, since this is an online class in terms of attendance, so for all summer classes you get 2 absences, and writing programs does not do excused or unexcused absences, so you just get to miss 2 classes. Now for online courses, your attendance is also tied to your assignments. So each day, each calendar day, or each weekday during the course, you will have one assignment to do. Sometimes that will be an assignment to go with the content for the day or the concept. Sometimes that will just be submitting some progress on your drafts or something like that. But each day you will have something you will need to do to just prove that you were online, you were here, and you were participating in the class that day. So if minor work, so if homework, or kind of the individual assignments aren't done by a given day, you are counted absent. You will not get credit for those assignments. So you need to make sure you stay on the schedule and that you're doing stuff. So if you miss 2 classes, that's your maximum. And if you miss, and I'll send you an email if you've missed 2 classes. If you miss a third, you automatically fail the course, and you can withdraw before the deadline, but after that you will earn an E for the course regardless. So the other thing is, if you have something coming up and something comes up and you're going to miss a day or 2, contact me, right? Occasionally we can work around it, but it's always better if I know what's going on, especially since we don't meet face to face. But if you disappear for a week and don't do the work, obviously you're not going to be able to pass the class. So now, since everything's online, when we do things like discussion boards and you're interacting with me and your classmates, the same expectations hold as they would in a face-to-face class. So you are expected to behave as an adult. So respect me, respect your classmates. We're going to read things that won't always be something you agree with, or maybe it's, very touchy, or, a couple of things we'll look at are kind of about serious issues and things like that. So, and when we talk about stuff like rhetorical analysis, we're in an election year, right? So these are all fine. You are more than entitled to have your opinions, but one of the things about 102 is that you have to be able to support those opinions. And you also need to understand that your opinions are not going to be shared by everybody. And so the first thing you should do is not, tell somebody they're an idiot or bite their head off or things like that. So online and discussions and assignments, everything like that, you are expected to conduct yourself accordingly. So, be respectful. You don't have to agree, but, when you disagree, do so in a manner appropriate for a classroom environment. And as it says in the syllabus, I don't tolerate any sort of sexist, racist, or otherwise offensive comment. So if you post anything like that, I will immediately, as soon as I find out, contact you about whether you even stay in this class or not. So 2 rules, basically: contact me if something comes up, and don't be a jerk. So a lot of stuff, you'll be doing stuff every day. So that's a lot of your participation work, as well as keeping up with those assignments and things like that. So the overall grade breakdown, you notice on the bottom of page 2 and top of page 3 on the syllabus. So there are 3 major writing projects, 3 major writing assignments that you're going to be doing throughout the semester. And that's the first one's the rhetorical analysis, which I'll talk about a little bit more in another video that you should look at for today as you look at the assignment sheet. But basically, you're going to be picking the social media profile or the Facebook or Twitter profile of a public figure, and then rhetorically analyzing that, thinking about who the audience is, what the purpose of their account is, and how they successfully achieve that goal or not through their Facebook or Twitter profile. So the second assignment is our big research-based project. That's the causal proposal argument. So you're going to be looking at picking a digital trend and basically arguing the cause and effect relationship that exists. And then once you've argued and you've established that trend and why it's occurred the way it has, you're going to be proposing some sort of course of action on the issue, whatever it is you pick to choose. So the third and final writing project is the evaluative review. And for that paper, you get to step into the role of a critic. You'll get to pick a particular technology or digital subject and evaluate it as a critic. So that'll be a project where you think a lot about criteria, and your big thing will be determining a claim of value. And so why would a particular audience have an interest in this technology, or why wouldn't they? Things like that. So we also don't do a final exam in English 102. In place of a final exam, you'll have a final course reflection, and especially because we're going to go through things so quickly in this class, over, it's going to be 6 weeks and we'll be done. So that'll be an opportunity at the very end of the class to kind of step back and say, hey, what is it that I've accomplished over these past several weeks? What is it I've succeeded at? What do I still need to work on, and things like that. So, it's the grading breakdown. So the rhetorical analysis is 20% of your grade. The causal proposal argument is your big, longer research project, is a quarter of your grade, is 25%. The review is 20%. And then participation, just in the assignments, the discussions, all that stuff, is 10% of your grade. Classwork homework is 10% of your grade. So all the assignments you're going to be doing online throughout the class. And then peer reviews. So for each unit, we will have, I believe, 2 peer reviews. One will be focused on content, so kind of what the author is saying in their paper. The other one's going to be about editing and proofreading, so kind of getting it polished up, making sure it's ready to go before it gets submitted. So you have to complete all the peer reviews, and those need to be done on time according to the schedule. So they add up to 10% of your grade, and they can't be made up. So if you miss one, you're already losing points. So, and then the final course reflection is 5%. So overall, that comes out to 100% for the class. So I'm going to go through the writing programs policies real quick, just to give you an overview of those, and I'll talk a little bit more about the structure of the class and how you're going to move through things online. So as it says right there, again, writing programs policy on attendance is that in a 6-week summer session, you are allowed 2 absences, and the definition of an attendance in an online course is verbatim. A student who fails to post an acceptable assignment to the class website during the assigned window of time will be counted absent for that class day. So you'll have an assignment, and it needs to be done that day. If it isn't, you're counted absent for the day. So as it says, technical problems aren't examples, especially you need to give yourself time to get things done. If you suspect your computer has an issue, get it checked out right away. Go to campus, get access to another computer so you can get your assignment done. So since this is an online class, there's a little bit more flexibility. If you have any sort of university sanctioned activity that you're part of that's going to cut into a lot of your class time, you need to either find a section that works better for you, or maybe look at taking in the fall or things like that. As it says there too, writing programs is sensitive to the religious practices of the various religious faiths represented by the student body at ASU. So again, there's flexibility here, but if you anticipate any major absences or anything like that, either contact me or think about a course that's going to work better with your personal schedule. So number 2, if you don't post during the first week, so if you don't post in the first 3 days of our online course, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this first week, I will drop you from the class. You won't, since you won't have participated at that point in time. So just make sure you get the assignments done that first week, and that won't be an issue. So just to kind of into the breakdown. So this course is a plus-minus course, so you'll notice the grading breakdown there. I don't give out A pluses because they are internal to ASU and they don't mean anything. So the highest grade I give is an A, but you can see the whole grade breakdown there. So number 4 should make sense that all writing is public property, especially in an online class where you're going to be sharing a lot of your writing with your classmates. So keep that in mind. If you are going to write on something that you feel very passionate about, whether it's a particular person or a particular subject, think about whether you're going to be willing to listen to people's feedback. If you feel really strongly about it, you don't want to listen to what they have to say, then you might think about picking a different subject. So in terms of late writing projects, so you can't make up the classwork homework AS1 by the window. You can't make that up. But however, you do need to submit all 3 major writing projects to pass the course. So I need to have the rhetorical analysis, the causal proposal argument, and the evaluative review for you to pass the class. If I don't get any one of those, regardless of the grades you get on everything else, you will not pass the course. So there is a late policy for those, and that is if you turn it in, or every calendar day you turn it in, is 1 letter grade off your paper. So if it's due on a Wednesday and I don't have it till Friday, that's going to be 20 points that I dock off your paper before I even start grading it. So now you'll notice that there is also a policy. So it's a pretty fast-paced class, and I understand you have life outside of class and everything, so that's fine. If you anticipate a problem with a particular deadline, you can submit an email request for an extension. Now, submitting a request doesn't guarantee an extension, but usually as long as it's a legitimate reason, I'm more than glad to give you an extra couple of days to work on your paper. But if I don't have that request, or if your request is denied, your paper will fall under the late penalty. So the next policies are kind of obvious but important. All writing for this class has to be done for this class. You can't use paper from a previous class. You can't use paper from 102 that you took before at another school, anything like that, or something you wrote in high school. It has to be written for this class. Which, if it isn't, that falls under academic dishonesty and plagiarism. So, on the light end of things, you'll fail the assignment. On the not so light end of things, you can either be you automatically fail the class, or you can even be suspended from the university. So, don't do it. We are an online class, but as I said earlier, the classroom environment online is expected to be the same as one in class, so you shouldn't be disruptive. You shouldn't threaten anybody or anything like that in the course. And if you do, you'll be reported and dealt with accordingly. So same thing goes for sexual violence and harassment. So this is don't ever disrespect any of your classmates at all. If I see anything like that happening, I will contact you immediately, and then you'll need to talk to the university. So if you have any sort of disability and you need an accommodation for the course, you need to make sure that you talk to the Disability Resource Center if you haven't already done so. I can't do anything without notification from them. So if that applies to you, make sure you get in touch with them ASAP. So, and then just Number 11, just in case, hopefully it's not for this class, but for all classes at ASU, if you feel like you've ever been graded unfairly or it's inaccurate or anything like that, keep all the stuff you're graded. So you'll get papers with comments and feedback from me. So save those, or save, papers you get back, because if you want to challenge a grade or you have questions, anything like that, it's much easier to go back with the comments than if you don't have anything, you can't make a strong case. So, okay, so I'm not going to go over the last couple of pages, but you can look at that. That's the tentative course schedule. So it's basically kind of a breakdown of what we're going to touch on each day. And if it seems like we need a couple extra days on, or an extra day or two on something, or we've moved through something pretty quickly, we're going to move, kind of extend time for something else. I will update the course schedule and I'll let you know. I'll post a revised schedule on Blackboard and post an announcement to let you know. But so this should be a good breakdown overall, though. So a couple of things, Wednesday, today, the 29th, is the first day of class. Tomorrow, June 30th, is the late registration and dropout deadlines. It's the last day to get out of this class or add another one, anything like that. So Monday, July 4th, is Independence Day, so you won't have an assignment due that day since it's a university holiday. You'll just have stuff to work on for the next day. So then July 19th is the course withdrawal deadline, so it's the last day that you can withdraw from the class before you are in it till the end of the semester regardless. And then other than that, August 9th is the complete withdrawal deadline and the last day of class, last day to process transactions. So basically, if you need to withdraw from the entire university at that point for the semester or the summer course, you can. So, and then August 11th, final grades are due, and that's when I will have your final grades posted. So, okay, a couple other quick announcements. I think, let me just double check my list. So, oh yeah, okay. So under the course info links tab, where I mentioned that you can find the directions for downloading Microsoft Office, or Microsoft Office. You'll find the syllabus there and a couple of the policies. You'll also notice there is an option for the Writing Center extra credit, and this can be done once for each assignment. So if you want to do it for the rhetorical analysis and the causal proposal argument, you can do that. And basically, the Writing Center extra credit requires you to set up an appointment with the Writing Center. If you're on campus, you can definitely use the online or the face-to-face Writing Center as an option. There's also an online option where you set up an online session with the tutor. So if you go face-to-face, you can have them sign your paper or send me an email to let me know that you were there, and that'll be the proof for you going. If you do the online session, at the end of your session, you will get an email with a link of your whole recorded session, so you can go back and look over it, and you can just forward that to me. So you can do that for each unit. The last day to do that is the day before the assignment is due. So if it's due on a Wednesday, the last day to do the Writing Center meeting itself is the Tuesday, the day before. You need to show me the proof by the day the assignment is due. And then the last part is after you've turned in the assignment, you have 24 hours to submit to me a one-page double-spaced reflection talking about what you got out of the Writing Center, what you talked about, and then what you took out of that advice and how you revise that into your paper. So doing that can get you up to 5 points on a paper. So, if your paper is at an 89, that could boost you up to a 94 potentially. So it depends on the quality of your reflection on how many points you will get. So other than that, I think the only other big thing is this is my last class at ASU that I'm teaching. So I'm actually starting this fall at Washburn University in Topeka as an assistant professor. So it's very exciting. It's the end of an 8-year career here at ASU for me. So I'm excited for the next step. But I will be moving at the end of August, or not the end of August, the end of July. So there's going to be a little bit of time where I'll still be available via email. I'll be checking my email as regularly as I can, but I might not be available to always meet via Go Hangout during that time. And I'll let you know exactly when that is. So so I think that's kind of the overall gist for the course. Oh, sorry. The obvious thing would be to talk about the schedule and how you're going to progress through the class. So you'll notice I've opened up Unit 1 for today, and you'll notice that there is a folder with your assignment for each day. So each day has something you're expected to do. It's due by the end of that day. So your deadlines, for the most part, are going to be the end of the day, 11:59 p.m. There are a few cases where that's going to be different, and that's when it comes to peer reviews. So, but so you will usually have a couple of videos or an assignment. You'll always have an assignment to work on, but you'll usually have a couple of things to look through or watch or read as well out of the textbook. That'll kind of get into the concept more for that day. So some days it will include videos like this of me talking about certain concepts. Other days I found some pretty good YouTube videos online from various educators around the country, or things like that are really helpful. So so you'll want to look through all of that, and then you'll have an assignment due each day, and that needs to be submitted by the end of the day, and that's how you will get your attendance. So now the early part of the course, I will be open, so the content stuff, you'll have something due each day. Honestly, if you want to progress a little bit more quickly through that content, you are welcome to. That's going to be up to you. But I will be grading every 2 to 3 days. I will kind of grade a batch of assignments. So even if you post early, I may not grade it right away. So just keep that in mind. So you will be responsible for doing that. There are points though where you can't move ahead in the course, and that's when the peer reviews are going to be occurring. So you'll notice when we kind of hit those points. So each time we do a peer review, you will have your draft will be due at 10 a.m. that day. So it'll be due earlier in the day, and then you'll have the rest of the day to complete the peer review activity for other members of your group, and those groups will be set up online, and there'll be instructions, a lot of stuff when we get closer to that. But those are the times that you will have to be plan on having that window available to work on completing the assignment. So it's still a pretty big window. It'll be like 14 hours that you can complete the peer reviews in, things like that. But keep in mind, so there's stuff that you can move through at your own speed in the class, but there are some things that will require everybody participating in the same window of time that you won't be able to do early. So right now, Unit 1 will be open, and once we finish Unit 1, Unit 2 will be open. So you can't kind of jump ahead to the next unit or anything like that, but you progress through some stuff a little bit earlier. So early is fine, obviously later isn't. So, but I think that's the kind of big stuff for now. So, if you have questions, please send me an email, set up time to talk to me via Google Hangouts. I'm glad to make sure, that if you have questions, I will answer them. So, that reminds me of one other thing. There is a discussion board that will be available for each unit. So there's one that's available now for Unit 1. It's just kind of an open discussion board to post any questions about any of the concepts we talk about, the rhetorical analysis assignment, anything like that. So feel free to take advantage of that as well. I'll try to check that every day or two and then answer any questions that are there. So otherwise, start looking through the stuff for today. Welcome to the class, and I hope you enjoy it. So please, again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me and let me know. Thanks.